everybody, and welcome to my guide on trouble brewing. The requirements for trouble brewing are completion of the quest Cabin Fever and 40 cooking. The best way to get to trouble brewing is to use the grouping teleport, which is the 4th tab at the top of the social tab. The recommended items to bring are your best weight reducing gear and axe. A Monkey Speak amulet is also recommended if you do not have completion of Monkey Madness 2. The best ring to bring would be a Ring of Endurance with at least 500 charges, however, the Ring of Endurance does not make a huge difference. When you enter the game, you will see a HUD with a bunch of different numbers and symbols. The ones going horizontally on the top denote what is needed to make rum, and the symbols found on the left going vertically denote whether or not your structures are sabotaged. Let's begin with the ingredients. The number above your ingredients tells you how much you have, and when it turns green, you have enough to make some rum. The first 3 symbols are your boilers, which are denoted by signs in front of them. The numbers tells you how many logs are currently burning inside of them, which caps out at 10. To make rum, this number needs to be at least 3 on each boiler. If the number is 0, you will need to use logs on the boiler and then a tinderbox. Once the number is above 0, you can increase the number by using logs on the boiler. Logs can be found in your log store within your base or cut from jungle trees. The number will slowly go down over time regardless of if rum is being made, so it is advised to wait a bit into the game before lighting boilers. The next 5 symbols are your ingredients that you must deposit in the hoppers on the upper floor of your base. Each rum will take 1 Bitternut, 1 Sweetgrub, 5 buckets of water, 3 bowls of your team's colored water, and 1 Scrapey Bark. To get buckets of water, you can take buckets from your workbench and then use the bucket on the water pump located outside your base to fill them. To get bowls of colored water, you must go to the enemy base and pick the flowers located there and use these flowers on the kettle in your base. Note that you can only hold 5 flowers at a time unless you bypass this with trading. Then you will use your bowls on the kettle to get the colored water. To get a Bitternut, you must have 1 colored water and go to any of the middle islands. Then you will need to catch a monkey and use the water on the monkey. Then you will use the colored monkey on the Bitternut tree. If the tree is shaking, there is currently another monkey in the tree. If another monkey is in the tree, given you are able to talk to your monkey, choosing for your monkey to be careful will make them more likely to win the fight and give you a Bitternut at the cost of being a bit slower. If there is no monkey in the tree, choose to make your monkey angry as it will give you the Bitternut faster. Make sure to wait for your monkey to give you your Bitternut before you leave. It should also be noted only 2 Bitternuts can be held in your inventory at a time. To get a Sweetgrub, you will need to take rat meat from your workbench and use it on a Sweetgrub mound located on either side of both bases. Sometimes, a swarm will come out of the mound and prevent you from getting Sweetgrubs, or the mound will deplete. If this happens, you should find another mound to take from. To get Scrapey Bark, take a knife from your workbench and find a scrapey tree either in the middle island or outside your base. Cut the tree and use the knife on the scrapey logs. The rum indicator at the end of the HUD will indicate when a rum bottle is ready to be packaged. When it flashes green, it means there is a rum ready at the end of the conveyor belt. To package the rum, click the rum and wait for your character to deposit it. You will only see a bottle if you have contributed enough of any ingredient to make the rum. Upon the game ending, you will be rewarded with pieces of 8 based on your personal contribution and your team's points. Your personal contribution is based on how many ingredients you deposited up to 100. You will also receive 10 times the points your team scored. To complete the collection log, 39,590 pieces of 8 are required. The amount of points you will receive will likely vary depending on players actively making rum and sabotagers. Going back to the vertical part of the HUD, we have 3 symbols and numbers. The top symbol shows how many hoppers are on fire, the middle shows how many pipes are on fire, and the bottom shows how many bridges are on fire. Sometimes after fixing these issues, it may incorrectly show something being on fire. However, if you look at your structures, you will see whether or not anything is burned by seeing if it is darker than usual. The best way to fix structures is to use a water bucket on the burning piece and repair them using one of 3 repair items. The pipes on the production line and water pump outside require pipe sections. Sometimes pipes on the production line will require more than 1 pipe to fix. If the water pump is on fire and you do not have water, you can go to the middle island and use the watering hole to get water and put out the fire, since it will burn for a while. The lumber patch is used to fix the hoppers on the upper floor, and the bridge section is used to fix bridges on your side. If you require more repair items, you can use logs on the long workbench in the base to make what you need. In the event your log store, which starts at 75 logs, becomes empty, you may find it useful to begin smuggling logs through forestry baskets, or you can turn scrapey logs into logs by using them on the log store and taking them out. Although Sabotage doesn't really do anything to help your team since winning doesn't matter in this minigame, I will run quickly through how it is done. Taking a torch and a tinderbox from the workbench, you can light the torch and then use the torch on jungle trees, the enemy's bridge section, water pump, hoppers, or pipes. Burning pipes impedes rum production, burning bridges makes ingredient routes longer, burning the water pump makes enemies unable to get water from it, burning hoppers prevents deposition of ingredients, and burning jungle trees makes them unable to be cut. The main method to complete personal contribution is to fill 100 buckets with water and deposit them. This should take about 5 minutes to complete. The tip for trouble brewing is that if you are joining while the game is already ongoing, enter through the red team as they have a prompt to join in the lobby. This is useful because joining at the midpoint will have your pieces of 8 you receive at the end of the game. Joining like this, however, will give you full points regardless of when you join. Another tip is to coordinate with your team to get the best rum rates. This mostly comes to flower collection as it is usually the main bottleneck. The best way to collect flowers is to have mains trade each other flowers so they can bypass the 5 inventory limit. If you are an iron and the kettle is full, you can drop the flowers at the kettle of your base instead.